everybody, it's Pam at the Paper Outpost, and today we are using up some scraps. Have you ever had a bunch of these after making a journal, or you're in the process and you end up with just these longy scraps, and these accumulate faster than you can shake a stick? Well, we're going to come up with some fun and easy ways you can use these to put in future journals, and the Twitter Fest is on a roll today, so here we go. All right, we can turn these into these. How about that? These are very usable. These are the strips that you just saw, but they're decorated in different ways. And I'm going to show you some fun and easy ways to decorate them. But the way you can use these, say for example, this one. This is a collaged strip with some lace and some flat back pearls placed on it and inked around in blue. Very simple concept, simple design. And what you can do is, we just back out a little bit. You can use this as a border, like a trim for a page. So you have a page that's kind of plain and you just want to put some pizzazz on it. And you can adjust these to size. You can tear off a little bit of the edge or cut a little bit of the edge to make it fit. You can also use these as a topper or even as a belly band. But for our purposes today, we're going to be thinking of them as trims. Okay, so the second one, I'm going to be a little gingerly careful with this one because I just stickled it, and you know what that means. It's wet. Okay, we always let our stickles dry. Okay, so this one was just a very simple concept. Is that, okay, maybe the focus is not, let me go back up. Okay, so this one I stenciled, very simple concept, and then I just tore a piece of book page and put that down the center for some eye intrigue. And then I stickled and also did some nouveau drops in the corners. So there you go, you can see all those. And this can be used as a similar concept. I'm backing out so you can see. It can be done as a, you can use these as a page trim where you glue the whole thing down the side, or you can just glue, say, this edge down here, and then it works like a tuck or a flap. Okay, not so much a flap, but more of a tuck. You can tuck pieces of paper in here and store some ephemera and things like that for your journal. And then when they take that out, they have all this lovely writing page. So that's another option. Now this one was very fun and very simple. I had some pretty coffee dyed scraps that I wanted to use, and all sorts of different pieces of paper. So I decided to use up one of these strips and incorporate it into the same concept. So here we have the demonstration. See how that can really add a lot to your page? You can also do the same across the top or the bottom. But a great way to use up these strips. So here's a little fancier way if you're so inclined to use fabric, but basically a very simple concept. Let me just close it closer. This was some sewing on here, but sewing is not mandatory, but I think it tacks it down really nicely, and it gives it a little bit of eye appeal here too. But basically I just took strips of fabric across the page and then sewed around to anchor it down. And the paper underneath is not super strong or anything, but once you put the fabric on it, or you layer papers on it, or you attach a bone, I call it a bone, down the center to give it extra strength, or you collage on top, you've increased the thickness of your piece of paper, and it is now suitable to put in your journals. And it's not too thick where it's going to cause crazy lumpy bumpiness. I mean, the fabric one is probably going to be a little lumpy bumpy, and if you use something like a flat back pearl, you're going to have some lumpy bumpy, but you don't have to. You could also use nouveau drops and just put dots down there or something like that. Okay, so let's make a few of these, see how far we can get in our allotted time. And oh, and there's one more. There is the famous paper ribbon, which I have sewn down the middle, and it's just a fast way. This is probably 3 strips sewn together, and this is the way that looks on, let me back you up here, sorry. So you can see, but you could attach that, obviously trim the top and the bottom, or you could do the side, or again, you could use it as a belly band. A million and one ways to use these strips, but a great TV project. So grab a handful of strips if you have them, or make some, just use tearing ruler, or just cut some, and let's get to it. Okay, so let me just put these aside. Whoop, okay. Alrighty then. Okay, so I think the first one we're going to make is this fellow. I'm going to just zoom in a little bit so you can see. Very simple concept. Here's my pile of strips. So I'm just going to grab a similar strip, and I just stenciled on these, and that was an easy way to fill in some of the blank space. And let's see, what do I got here? What's handy dandy, huh? How about blue? Blue is handy dandy, so let's use that. All right, so I'm just grabbing any stencil that I have. I get mine on eBay, and I usually go to the, I Google, or not a Google, but I eBay Google, I search for on eBay stencils, and then I go to lowest price first, and you come up with some really inexpensive stencils that way. They're very reasonable. Although you can make your own, but honestly, they're so reasonable. It's worth. You can get packs, like you can get like 10 packs and things like that, where it becomes really reasonable. So keep an eye out on eBay. That's the best place I found to buy them. I haven't looked on AliExpress yet, but I have so many stencils I really don't need anymore. So, and I'm just going around the outside here to give it a little more emphasis. There's really not much wrong you can do with a stencil when you're just doing a general design. Even if you overlap it or you get areas like this, it can just create intrigue. Gotta love the intrigue every once in a while. What is that, And with this one, I think we can also do, find my brown. Where'd you go, brown? Where's my brown number? Hang on. Right where he was, right in front of me the whole time. Okay, that's where he usually lurks, right in front of me the whole time. Okay, so one thing I can tell you, I'm just going to random, like not everywhere, but just some places, just to give it a little bit of a hodgy-podgy kind of, or aged look. Okay, there we go. Right in the stickles. Okay, that always happens. Okay, so now I'm going to put my bone or my center strip down, and I'm going to first look in my strips. I have this sitting here, not doing anything. Would you like to become part of that? Yes, Mitho and Nabobish. Would you? Okay. Well, let's see. It looks like I ruler tore that one, but I'm going to finger tear this one just for fun. And because it's here, and it's a great way to use up a scrap. I like those words on there, so I'm just going to leave them in. We'll see if they're, yeah, everybody fits. Nobody's quibbling. And I think I might do this in brown. I don't know why, I'm just thinking the brown on this one. So this is vintage photo brown. I use the one brown dauber for all my browns, so it's probably a mix of vintage photo, walnut stain, and maybe a little bit of brushed corduroy I used the other day. But, brown is brown is brown. Some are darker, some are lighter, but, at the end of the game, end of the road, it's a brown. Okay. Brown seems to be a very handy color to use if you're looking for inks to add to your portfolio or your tool chest arsenal. Boy, the Twitter Fest is excited today, aren't they? Yes. So I think you can see the difference between the torn, jagged versus the straight. Okay, just different looks. Do as you like. I'm going to use this glue, Scotch Create glue stick. It's just a very easy, very strong glue stick. Been very happy with it so far. All right, we're just going to glue this down. And there, I mean, you could just stop at that and just say you're done. And then you don't have to do any more than that. You don't even have to go to the stickles route or anything. But we're going to go the stickles route. And I learned something that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm not sure if I've shared it before, so let me just make sure I share it today. And I thought, well, let's see. All right, let's use some, I'm going to use black. I'm going to use black Nouveau crystal drops. And all these links are down below if you want to look for similar products, something like that, or you can find them anywhere. And you're probably in Hobby Lobby or Michael's, they carry this stuff too. Okay, so this one, I think I'm just going to go around the edge. The Nouveau drops give a bigger dot, I would say, than the stickles. Just a bigger opening in the product, I think. So just kind of be aware of that. Down, up, down, up, down, up is the movement. And once you kind of get familiar with it, you can go a little faster. To avoid the tail drag, you want to go down, up, down, up. That minimizes the chance of a little fishtail being taken over to the side. Sometimes when I go too fast, I get little fishtails and little baby fishtails happening there. But what I have noticed is that the Nuvo drops and liquid pearls dry much faster than the stickles, which is the glitter glue. For some reason, the stickles, you almost have to let it sit for, oh geez, like hours before it's dry. But the Nuvo drops, you leave it for about an hour and it's dry. So, all right, so we have that on there. That's a very simple design. And let me just give you a closer upper. Oh, did I? No. Okay, there. All right. So that's what we got. Okay, very simple. Nothing fancy, and you could do more with that, but I'm just going to keep it simple so I can show you lots of examples today of what you can do with these blessed strips. Okay, these are going over here in the dunsies. All right, you're done, and you're done. All right, let's look at you now. Okay, so you look like this. This is a collage. I just grabbed a couple of book pages and a written book page and a botanical illustration book page, and then actually they were scraps. They weren't even full book pages. I'm just trying to use the scraps up on my desk. Some scrapbook paper, and this was actually like a contract workman's paper that I had avocado dyed. It was just a sheet of it and like an accounting page, and I've just put that in there. So let's go ahead and make something that looks similar to this. Okay. So there was no rocket science here. Nope, nope, nope. And this is the way I did it. So I'm going to show you exactly what I did. And okay, here we go. Smush, 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 smush. Glue stick. It makes that sound when you do it. Smush. So that's not actually me saying that. That's the glue stick. Okay, just I want you to know that. Okay, I can try, right? Okay, so here was a shred of a botanical page. Not sure what this originally belonged to, but I like to do the hangover. Yeah, I like to do the hangover. I like to do the hangover on the edge a bit. I think it just gives a kind of a cool, I don't know, sort of rustic, ruffled, otherworldly sort of look. And then I had, okay, then I was working with this page. This was my text page. And I was just sticking them down, randomly tearing them and sticking them down. This is very fun and relaxing to do. And you just really feel like you're using up your stuff, you know. And there's no order to this. It's just however you want to do it. Then I had this leftover of an avocado dyed regular page. So I just took some of that and simply, and you can make these as big or small as you want. There's no right or wrong or rules here. I'm just going random. I put, the only thing I'm doing just because I want some balance is I'm doing threes. So I'll do like 3 pinks, and then I'll grab the green again, the botanical page, and I'll do 3 of those, and I'll try to like do it in different areas. Okay, so that's 3 of those, and then I'll grab the book page, and I'll do 3 of those. Can you see all this? Tell me if you can't. 1, okay, 2, 3, and then I'll grab the pink page and I'll do the same thing. And I like to get the torn edges, so if there's some straight edges, I try and tear them off, or I put them down intending to cover the straight edge. So if I do have a little straight edge, I try and cover it up with the next piece of paper. 3, okay, and then I go back to the first page. And so it's really just a simple process of that. I guess I also used some of this in here, and this is just a 2-page scrapbook paper. So let me just add some of that, and it's kind of pretty on both sides, so I guess I should put some of that in there. All right, I'm just gonna catch up because I was behind the 8 ball there. Oh, okay, now I got a straight edge. I don't like that. Okay, retreating, changing, and gluing down again because we can. Okay, so what do I start with? Green? I don't know. Okay, going back to the green. Get some green going there. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now going for the words, the text. All right, and these really fragile, thin papers, a great way to use those up because they do need to be glued down to something or else they're just going to all fall apart. So they're going to fracture and shatter on you. So that was kind of close to that one, wasn't it? Yeah, we don't want you there. No. Okay, so we put you over here. There we go, a little more variety. Like that. Okay, so that was 3 of those. And then the pinks. Okay, here we go. Oh, I guess the pink wasn't a contractor page. The pink was I think it's an old writing paper. It was in a stack of papers I got. Some school had produced these papers. There's some name of a school at the top. And so yeah. So if some of them, like you think you're going to have a lot of peely uppies, then I would just glue them down. You can Mod Podge over this if you want. I don't think it needs it, but if you feel more secure and like it's more together and cohesive, Mod Podge away. I mean, this is your puppy, so you can have fun with it however you like. And, you know, take it to whatever level you want to take it to. Just a little, whole lot. That's the fun of crafting. You just get to play as you go. All right, so pretty much done this one. Oops. No, that's kind of close there. Okay, you know what? See, I don't have as much of this, so I'm going to put one there just for a little balance, little eye balance. And it looks like I used all those, so maybe I'll just continue to use that side. All right. Oh, yes. Well, down to the last one, right? Okay, here we go. And the last one's, oh no, I got one little area there. Okay, put you there. And I need something right there, and I think it needs a greenie. I think it needs, no, there's a greenie there. I think it's gonna be all right. We'll just get greenie down, because everybody's there. Really not much choice. Okay, so there we have that. Okay, so then I went around the edges and I blued it up. I broken china, blued it up with Distress Oxide, and I think I like the oxides even a little better than the regular Tim Holtz inks. They seem to be more intense, and the ink pad seems to stay full for me a lot longer. I just seem to, you know, there always seems to be tons of ink to work with on these. I'm not having to go back as much and get more ink on the little Dauberoo. I don't know, does anybody else have that experience, or is it just me? And I think there's more things you can do with the oxides as far as being able to play with them and that. Now I'm having this feeling like I want to do this, so I'm going to do it. You know, like I was trying to, you know, teach you guys that it's okay to do that. Well, it could be a total disaster, but we don't know until we do it, right? And it's only paper, so we're going to do it anyway. Okay, now it does take away a little bit of the contrast, but I think it kind of marries them all together. That's what I tell myself when I did it. So I like it. I think that's pretty, and I could actually just leave that like that. You know, I think that's actually really beautiful just like that. So if you don't have lace or you don't have flat back beads, you know, you can just do this and leave it at that. Yeah. Now you could do other things on here, but let's just leave it very simple today. And I think that's really pretty, actually. Okay, I'm done oogling at my own stuff. All right, and I like the way that it's, this is gonna glue down a little bit more, but there will be little pieces that curl up a little bit. You can go back and glue those in, but I kind of like them because they look like leaves almost laying down on the side of the page. So, all right. And so here's what you're gonna get, something that's gonna, let me back out a little bit. Something's gonna look like that. And don't remember, if you want it to fit exactly to your page, you just take it and then you mark your little spot, and then you just come along and tear there where it needs to be, and then you just ink around that edge, and then it's perfectly matching. But maybe you like it extending over the edge and extending a little further this way over the page, or a little further below the page, which I prefer, or I like to play with. I would say that. And you could glue it down like that, which is very pretty. Okay, so that's that one. Ta-da! All right, what are we on next? This little guy. Okay, no, let's do this little guy next. Okay, this little guy is really easy, and he's a great way to bust through some scraps that are sitting on your table. Let me zoom in so you can see him. Basically, he's just a collection of torn little pieces of the other strips. So I had a pile of these strips, so I went through them and I just picked out some that were differing in color, and I laid them down in a clump. And what I did was, let me just demonstrate here my clump tearing. So my clump tearing technique was nothing more than, where's my ruler? Where's my ruler? Okay, hang on. Okay, basically it's nothing more than this. I use a metal ruler. They can be long or short, but they tend to have a nice sharp edge on them, which facilitates the tearing process. So here we go. Actually, probably better do it this way. It'll make more sense. Okay, and really no rhyme or reason to it. You just go and you tear like this pretty fast. So you can just tear a bunch of these once. It's okay if they're not totally super sharp on the bottom. because it's okay. It just is. All right, so you have a pile of these, right? And now let's say yours, you can even do them to all look the same. They don't have to all be different. Let me show you. We'll work with what we actually made this time. I won't bring those other ones in. Okay, so let's take this strip. All right, this is just a piece of graph paper, regular grid paper, graph paper. It's not really super thick or anything, but all we're going to do is turn it into something wonderful. Okay, that's it. Okay, so we're going to take our glue stick, same glue stick, and we're just going to run it down. Oh, this is why my craft mat is such a mess. I'm terrible. Okay, so we got that down. And we close our glue stick up because that's very important. And then basically, let me just orient this horizontally for you. Okay. I'm going to take the torn parts and I'm going to put them hanging over the edge a little bit. And then I'm just going to go down and place these just so they're overlapping just a wee bit. Because I think that's going to look kind of cool. And I've got some differing colors here, which is kind of nice. They're not extremely different, but the neutral different is also very pretty. And I like that. Okay, let me go with this one. Just do a little bit of an alternating. It's like a bisque vanilla sort of thing I'm doing here. Nothing super fancy, but just something fun to use up some scraps. And yeah, see? The less you overlap, the less peely uppies you're going to have. Can you see? Let me move it up. Okay. And super easy, right? Anybody can do this, right? Okay. We're almost done. We got what? Nope, that's a halfer. We need a holer. All right. Okay, so say we have that. We didn't quite make it to the end, but that's okay. I'll show you what we do. We flip it over now. And we get a pair of, you can use any ones of these to cut, the fancy, designer paper edgers, or you can just use a pair of pinking shears, which I find easier because if your paper is a little bit damp from the glue, these tend to jam up where this will almost go through anything. So that's why I like to use these. And let me just back you up a little bit. Okay, there we go. I want to make sure you guys can see well. It's my thing I'm trying to work on here. Okay. Can you see? Yes. Okay. So now I'm following the line. I'm not cutting right on the paper line. I'm cutting just to the right of it. So I'm actually cutting into the strips that went across. I don't know why I'm doing that. That's just the way I'm doing. There's no real reason. You could cut into the paper. It doesn't matter. And I'm just going to cut along the bottom. You could also tear this if you wanted. Probably wait till it's dry. You'll get a better tear, but I think this kind of looks cool. All right, and there we go. So now we have that. Isn't that pretty? That's kind of cool, huh? Maybe not the most exciting thing in the world, but maybe you're going for a muted style or a muted design. So I'm going to do something funky, and I'm going to try some black on this. See how that goes. Hold on to your hats here. But I'm just going to edge in black. Because sometimes the neutrals, when you just add a little bit of black, they look really cool. And how at 23, yeah, we're okay. And come down the mountain. Yep, here we go. This little finger thing. Somebody told me I need to stick my finger in the finger thing, so I'm listening. I do hear you. I do read all your comments. I do my best to reply to as many comments as possible now. It's getting a little bit more difficult for me to respond to everybody, but I do read everybody's. I want you to know that because your input is very important to me. And actually what I can do is I can do this because they're uppies. Look at that. Oh, huh. Does that do something? That could do something. See, we're learning here, learning as we go. And I thought with this one, maybe I might bring in some little baby stamps because you could use stickers or anything on here. That looks kind of cool, huh? All right, so let me just give you the, drop the lid of my, oh yeah, didn't tell you which color. Black soot. Okay, there we go. Here, you could go very neutral. You have a lot of color on this side. Maybe you want to have it softer on this side and not too, crazy daisy. Okay. But if you wanted to go a little more Wild Camp Sally and have some fun with it, you could pull out some of these pups. These are just some pegged stamps I got online. And I'm going to pick an upsy downsy direction because these are going to go upsy downsy. So maybe I'm just going to, I don't know what I'm going to do till I do it. Let's see what happens. Okay, can you see? Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm just going to go every few here. All right. Now I could be totally done with that, or I could do more. I'm going to do more. Okay, how about these? No, it's too skinny. Do this one. Okay. That one. Whoop, off kilter. Figures, huh? Okay. All right. So there. So just something simple like that all of a sudden really dresses it up. And can you see that? I hope so. Very simple, very demure. This one. Okay, here we go. Good cross comparison here. Where's the other one? Where's the one I made? What was I making? Oh yeah, the colored one. Here it is. Okay, so this is Catherine Deneuve. Very neutral, very sophisticated. Here is, this is probably more like, I want to say Holly Hobby kind of a look to it maybe. Or maybe, because it's got the grid paper, more scientific, feminine with the pink. And but old paper. So it's kind of like Laura Croft Tomb Raider. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay, got it. That makes no sense, but it does in my mind. Okay, so what else can we make? So we made these two and we made the others. And then we have this guy. Okay, well, who's this guy? This guy, I took a fat one. Let's see, let's grab this pile of scraps, see what we got in here. Let's get a fatter one. Okay, and yeah, it was the exact same kind of paper I used. Okay, and I'll just clear the deck here. And what did I do? Oh, this one I used Fabrifix because it's a strong silicone-based waterproof style glue that really adheres fabric well. Make sure my fabric bag is close. Okay, so what I do is sometimes I'll take scraps of fabric. This is when I'm really organized in my life. And then I organize them into colored bags. So I'll show you the one bag I have. You have to kind of do this a little quick because it will dry on you. Okay, so I have this bag full of scraps that are kind of in smaller pieces. So what I do is I just come along here and I just do this. Okay, let me cover that before that dries. Okay, I'm trying to be better about that. Okay, pull that out. And then what else have I got? What do I got? What do I got? I got this. Okay. So I'm just going to go on and randomly put these down. I'm not going to think about it too much. Here's something pretty. I don't know what to make of that, but it's going to go here. Okay, stick. Okay. And what else do I have in here? Oh, okay, let me put something more brown. Okay, because I can see something. All right, maybe some of that for contrast. You're not long enough. Maybe you are. Stick you there. There's some lace. And now I can steal. I can steal from the end of that strip if I happen to have my scissors. There we are. Okay. I know you're going to come off. So I can do a repeating pattern. I can do a random pattern. You know, the world is my oyster at this moment. I could just go to town. Okay, this one seems to want to go like that. Okay, we can do that. And then maybe we'll do another one of this piece. Where's your other end? You seem to be skinnier at the other end. Oh, you're attached. Look at that. Okay, let me borrow you. Okay. Oop. Gotta do this before your glue dries. If your glue dries, you just go back and glue it again. That's all you do. Okay, let me just cut you off because I may need to use you guys again. Okay. And going into my big bank here of stuff. All right, let me put the frillies on top. Okay, we're still sticky? We're still sticky. You got a few minutes, like not 100 minutes, but you got some minutes with the Fabrifix stuff here. All right, there's a different one. Okay, didn't see that coming, did you? Nope. Okay. That's right, got to keep you guys on your toes here. Never know. Okay, what do we got? Got another one of you. Yeah, okay. Probably should put that one there. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, let's move you. We want more contrast there. There. The wild, and then the flowers. And they're in the home stretch. And I think I need another pinky, a skinny pinky. I'll just put a big piece on the bottom. All right, there. They can be big or thin pieces, thick pieces, doesn't matter. So once you have all your stuff down, let me back it up a bit so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to flip it over. I might have some tails still attached, doesn't matter. But I'm going to basically do the same thing. I'm going to go around and just cut the edges off with these pinking shears. I do have these linked down below if you're interested, but you know, any pinking shears, you can get these at any store really. You know, Walmart, I'm sure, carries pinking shears. And, if you get a decent pair, you don't have to pay a lot for pinking shears, but if you, they're going to be better than those little Fiskar things for a wettish paper cut. If you're just cutting, yeah, and those won't cut fabric at all, so yeah, forget that. Be whistling Dixie before that ever happens. Okay, so there we have that. And now you could totally leave it as that. You don't have to do any more than that. This can go on the side of your page and just look absolutely wonderful. You know, depending on the type of page you want to put it on the side of, something like that. You know, hey, that looks kind of cool, right? Or you can go ahead and do the sew thing. So I'll just sew it and I'll be right back. So basically, we made one of these. Let me give you a little closer look. Okay. So, and it's just on paper, nothing more than that. People make sometimes things called snippet rolls, which is very similar to this, except this is just a section of a snippet, I guess you'd call it. And often the snippet rolls are done on fabric, but they also can be done on paper or anything. But this is just a very simple paper strip, extra paper strip with fabric pieces sewn on the front. And you can see that how the sewing adds a little bit of an accent. Not mandatory, but if I could encourage any of you to go out there and just get a little workhorse sewing machine, maybe at your thrift store for about 20 bucks, or you can borrow one from your Aunt Sally just for an afternoon and, you know, swear to her that, you know, maybe you'll get your own needle or something like that. It really can add a lot to your crafting. It just opens up worlds. So I'd say don't rule it out, even if you're not a sewing person, because I was not a sewing person at all, zero interest. I always thought you had to be born with the sewing gene, and if you didn't grow up in a family that sewed, or nobody sat down and taught you how to sew, you know, that's it. The ship had sailed. It was never going to happen. Not true. We have YouTube today, and you can learn anything on YouTube. And really, with paper crafting, you don't need to learn a lot of fancy things. You need to learn how to do a straight stitch and a zigzag stitch, and then you have so many possibilities right there. It's the ideas are endless at that point. So if you could just figure out how to thread the bobbin, thread your machine, and do straight and zigzag stitch, you're going to have amazing possibilities. And you probably will learn a little bit more even beyond that. But you know what? It's so easy, and I just really encourage you to do it. And I'm off my soapbox. Okay, what else we got? Okay, so pretty much that is it. Oh, I got to wrap it up here because our time is disappearing right before our eyes. So I'm just going to put out our dunsies here, what we did, without smudging everybody. So you can see them again, example time. And I hope you liked this. I hope it was fun. I didn't have time to do the paper ribbon, but there's lots of examples out there on that. I think Natasha at Treasure Books does a really nice